Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go over numbers 21 through 30 now, which deals with a lot of exponents and exponential functions and scientific notation. So we're going to go over that. A reminder, again, all late work, all missing work, all retakes, and all makeup quizzes all must be done by the end of the hour tomorrow, end of your class period. Okay? You can have a one-page piece of paper, 8.5 by 11, regular size piece of paper, front and back, with formulas and steps on it, but it must be checked by next Tuesday if you want to use it on your exam. Okay? And any other things? I don't think so. Okay. Let's start with 21 then. 21 is 4x squared y to the 5th squared. Okay? I want you guys to remember what we talked about. We have to kind of distribute the square. Christina, can you sit up, please? I want to make sure you get all of this information. Okay? Tristan, can you sit up, please?
Everyone's sitting up. Everyone's writing this down.
Okay. So it's kind of like distributing that squared to each of the terms in the inside. So we're going to do 4 squared. We're going to do x squared squared, y to the 5th squared. Okay? 4 squared, 4 times 4 is 16. X squared squared is x to the 4th, because remember our rule that you should probably have written down in your formula sheet. Any number taken to a power, you multiply. Y to the 5th squared is y to the 10th. So that would be answer D. All right, let's look at 22. Okay. 22 is 3b to the negative 2 over c to the negative 2 d squared. Excuse me, it should be d to the negative 2. If that's not written on your sheet clearly, it's kind of sort of on mine. Okay, so here's my question, ladies and gentlemen. What do we do with negative exponents? We flip them. So anything that's negative, we flip to either the bottom or the top. Whichever it's on, it goes on the other side. So first I'm going to draw my line. Does 3 have any negative exponents? So 3 stays where it is on the top. Does b have a negative exponent? So what are we going to do? We're going to put it on the bottom. So I'm going to move b squared, and it becomes positive when you move it to the bottom. Okay, so let's look at the bottom. We've got c to the negative 2, so that means it goes from the bottom to the top. So it's c squared, and it's become positive. And d to the negative 2 moves to the top. Okay, so you should get A for that one. Okay, let's look at 23. 23, we see a graph, and it's a little bit light. But it looks like this. Okay, and we want to know if it's y equals 4 to the x, y equals 5 to the 4x, y equals 1/4 x, or y equals 5 to the 1/4 x. Just one. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So when I'm looking at this, remember with exponents, if it's something going up, okay, if we had a graph that looked like this going up, then it would be a whole number in front of it. Since it's not, since it's going down, you can cross out A and B. It can't possibly be it. Okay? We could test C and D 1/4 to the x. If you take 1/4 to the first power, you know it's going to be 1/4. If you take 1/4 to the second power, you know it's going to be 1/16, and so on. So the answer to this one is C. It's 1/4 to the x. We know it can't be times 5 because it doesn't start at 5/4. It doesn't start with 1 and 1/4. Okay? Let's look at 24. We want to figure out which one of these, x to the 6th over x squared, x to the -5th over x to the -9th, x to the 11th over x to the 7th, and x to the -2 over x to the 6th. Which one does not reduce to x to the 4th? What? No. Because you get x to the 9th over x to the 5th. 9 minus 5 gives you x to the 4th. Right, so I flipped them, and then you subtract with dividing. So which one, when I subtract them, or when I then flip them and subtract them, does not give me x to the 4th?
Look at A. Does 6 take away 2? Does that give you 4? Yes.
Okay, so it can't be A. Prove it can't be B. What about 11 minus 7 gives you what? 4.
Well, that's not it then.
Okay, so that's not it. So the answer would be -2 minus 6 gives me x to the -8. So that'd be 1 over x to the 8. So it's D. D would be the correct answer. Okay, let's look at 25. We've got 4 over 6 to the -2. What do we know about negative exponents? We know they have to move from the top to the bottom, right? So what are we going to do with this? It's a negative exponent. We've got a fraction to a negative exponent. What are we going to do? We flip it, right? We get 6 to the 4th squared. If you flip it over, we can change the exponent from negative to positive. Okay? What's 6 times 6? What's 4 times 4? 36/16 would be B. Now you gotta ask questions if you don't understand. Otherwise, I'm gonna keep going.
So you guys understand you can never have a negative exponent. So you have to flip it. When you flip it, it magically becomes positive. Okay, we didn't learn this long time ago.
26. We've got 4x squared y over 4xy times 8xy to the 4th over 4y. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, this is going to be a couple of steps, is I'm going to get rid of things that are on the top and the bottom. Okay, remember when it has that fraction, it's the same thing as division. So I'm just going to go through and divide. What's 4 divided by 4? 1. So that goes away. We can put a 1 in front if you want. If we have x squared on top and x on the bottom, so it looks like this, I can cancel them out. And how many do I have left? X. And y over y, they're both gone, so what am I left with? 1 or nothing. What's 8 divided by 4? 2. Is there any x's on the bottom? That means I can't cancel out that x. I've got 4 y's on the top and 1 y on the bottom. So how many y's do I have? 3. Okay, now I've got to times it. X times 2xy to the 3rd. So this is 1 and this is 1. And remember, when we multiply, we add the exponents. So we get 2x squared y to the 3rd. So that would be C. Oh, I'm sorry. A. 2x squared y to the 3rd. Okay? So now we're going to look at scientific notation. Does anybody remember how scientific notation has to be written? Jasmine? Times 10 to some power. What's true about in front of that times? The number has to be between what and what? 1 to 10. Okay, so which one of these, A, B, or C, is not written correctly? C. C is not written correctly because you can't have 0.004. Let's look at 28. 0.04 times 10 to the 4th. So I write it like this, and then I know I've got to move over 4 places, and I'm going in the positive direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 50,400, it would be D. Any questions so far? All right, let's move on to 29. Huh? For limited time. Okay, we've got 155 times 10 to the 4th over 2.5 times 10 to the negative 3rd. Okay? 4 minus a negative 3. 4 minus 3 gives us... Okay, if we do 1.55 divided by 2.5, we're going to get 62 times 10 to the 1. Can we have 62? So I'm going to move it over one more in the positive direction, which is going to change this to 10 to the 0. Okay? And I'm going to do 30 real quick. You deposit $450 in an account that pays 5% interest compounded yearly. What is the account balance after 5 years? We're going to use y equals c times 1 plus r to the t. You might want to have this on your formula sheet. C is what I start with, so that's 450. The rate is 5%, so I'm going to change this to plus 0.05, and the time is 5 years. Then all I'm going to do is put this in my calculator exactly like that. And I'm going to get $574.33. Okay. You might want to write down C equals the start of your money, R equals rate, and T equals time.
Put it on your cheat sheet.
All right. C equals the money that you start with. All right, guys.